Today we'll be discussing about transient stability. Today we will be discussing about transient stability, and one of the most important topics in unit number 4, which is called as equal area criteria. And we will try to solve one or two problems on this equal area criteria, which helps us in analyzing whether the system is stable or not under transient conditions. Okay, so let us start with transient stability. As already been discussed in the last class, transient stability refers to the system. It refers to the system subjected to sudden disturbances, isn't it? So when the system is subjected to sudden disturbances, how the system behaves, how the system reacts, how particularly the delta varies. This sort of study is dealt in transient stability. Okay, and these sudden disturbances can be sudden loss of load. It can be sudden loss of load due to some fault in the system, or it may be suddenly because of loss of generation, maybe any failure at the generating station. Like this, because of many of these reasons, the disturbances may be fast enough, and the system may experience changes in delta. So the study of the system when it experiences fast disturbances is considered transient stability. Okay. Now, in this transient stability, one particular method is extensively employed to predict whether the system is stable or not. That method is called the equal area criteria. Okay. So, to remember for you guys, if somebody asks you what do you mean by equal area criteria, you can directly say to them that it is one of the methods which is generally used to predict the transient stability of the system. Okay. So, equal area criterion, often referred to as EAC from here on. This is based upon graphical interpretation. This is based upon your power angle curve, actually. So it is based upon the graphical interpretation of this power angle representation, power angle curve representation. Okay, and there is a limitation for equal area criteria. It can be applicable to SMIB system, single machine, infinite bus system. This is most important. What is the limitation of EAC? It can be applied to only single machine infinite bus system, or at the max to 2 machine systems. It cannot be applicable to multi-machine systems. This is the limitation of equal area criteria. Otherwise, for these two types of systems, this is the best way how to predict the transient stability. Okay. So now let us see how this equal area criterion helps us in understanding the transient stability of the system. Now, let us consider the swing equation again. Okay. Let us start again from the swing equation. You know that the swing equation is given by mu2 d square delta by dt square is equal to PA. So if it is per units, then this is also in per units, isn't it? Which means d square delta by dt square is equal to PA by this entire thing is in per units. This is what is which we have derived in the swing equation, isn't it? Now we will see one more point. As you know, whenever the system experiences any disturbances, this is the solution of swing curve, isn't it? Delta with respect to time. Normally, the delta will be somewhere, let us suppose here. The delta, let us suppose it is here somewhere with respect to time. Suddenly a disturbance has appeared. The delta may vary continuously, or it may experience some disturbances and finally settle down to some value. Okay. Now this sort of thing, if delta varies indefinitely with respect to time. If delta varies indefinitely with respect to time, if it goes on increasing beyond a predictable value, then the system is considered unstable. Otherwise, if delta experiences oscillations and it comes back to some value, then it is considered to be a stable system. These are called as damped oscillations, isn't it? So for this to happen, you know about this curve fitting, etc. If your curve must experiences a minimum and maximum, then what is the condition, beta? Your condition must be d delta by dt must be equal to 0, isn't it? If this is happening, means then you are experiencing a minimum or a maximum. In this case, there is no minimum and maximum. I can't predict what is the maximum. So this, if this is not equal to 0, which means that the system is unstable. If this is equal to 0, then the system might be experiencing some oscillation and it may come back to a stable state. So now what we have understood? System can be stabilized if d delta by dt is 0, isn't it? This is the primary condition. So now let us look back to this. I am multiplying both sides with 2 delta by dt. This is also I am multiplying with dA by m and integrating with respect to time. Integrating with respect to time. If I integrate it with respect to time, see the value here. This is d square delta by dt square. This is integrating with respect to time. And this is 2 d delta by dt dA by m into dt. Now, what is the integration of this one? This is d delta by dt whole square, isn't it? What is this one? 2 by m is constant. dt will get cancelled. So this is dA d delta, isn't it? So for system to be critically stable, d delta by dt must be equal to 0, which means this term must also be equal. That implies integral of dA d delta must be equal to 0. This is called as equal area criterion condition. Equal area criterion employs this particular thing. Integral of dA with respect to delta must be equal to 0 from initial value to final value before you react. Okay. Now let's see this one in the graph now. I have already told you that this is a graphical representation. You know what is accelerating for, right? It is mechanical input minus electrical output. So first let us draw this curve. This is part. This is delta. This is electrical power, isn't it? Electrical power is P max into sine delta, isn't it, guys? Now mechanical power. You know mechanical power is independent of delta. It is independent of delta. This is PM. This is electrical power. Okay. Now, initially, let us suppose this is the point. Initially, the system was stable at this point, A. Okay. Assuming that the system is stable at this point, A. Now, let us suppose the mechanical power is suddenly increased. This is the mechanical power, right? So, mechanical power is suddenly increased to a new value. So, this is PM new. So, this is PM new now, which means the operating point now, which was here, this will rise to. So what is why? Because there is a new value of mechanical power. The electrical power is just on this point only, but slowly it tries to come to this point because this is a stable point, right? Where mechanical input is equal to electrical output. So your final destination point is this one, C. So it slowly goes on up to this point. But because of its moment of inertia, it can't stop here. So it will oscillate up to some value. Again comes back, again goes, again, finally before settling down to C value. This is the way how delta will be varying. See, delta is initially a delta. It will be varying up to delta max. And finally, before settling down at some delta optimum, what I call it. Okay. This has happened. This delta has varied because your mechanical power has been increased from this blue line to this blue line. Because of that, your delta is varying. Okay. Now, if you carefully see, there are two areas here. This is mechanical power now, final mechanical power. This is electrical power. This curve is electrical power. See, initially, during this period, before this point came to here, mechanical power was higher than this electrical power, isn't it? After this point, the machine was experiencing oscillations, that's why it has moved further. This is A2, this is A1, area 1, area 2. So, what is the initial point? Delta naught. Final point is delta max. During this period, the difference accelerating power must be equal to 0, which means delta naught, delta m, Pm minus Pe must be equal to 0, isn't it better? Pm minus Pe must be equal to 0. Now, if you carefully see, delta naught to delta m. From delta naught to delta C, which is higher, Pm is greater than Pe, isn't it? Next, so I am just separating this. From delta naught to delta n, just I am separating this one. I am breaking into two intervals. Okay. Now this one is area 1, isn't it? Where Pm is higher than Pe. This is area 2. This is Pm minus Pe, right? But Pm is lower. I'll take it as minus A2. So whenever this area A1 is equal to A2, then the system will be critically stable. This is the condition, what we have obtained. As long as A1, do remember that, for those who are going for competitive exams, this is the condition for critically stable. As long as A1 is greater than A2, system is stable. If A1 is equal to A2, critically stable. If A1 is less than A2, then the system would have moved out of synchronous. Okay. This is the concept of equal area criteria. Just by observing the values of delta, how it is varying, you can say that whether the system is going to be stable or not. Okay. So hope you have understood this equal area criteria. Now we will, sir, we have obtained the condition. Now how to solve the problem, right? This might be your question. Now we will see how to solve this one as a technical one, and we will also try to solve the problem on this one. Okay. Now, what I'll be doing, I'll be redrawing the figure again with just a minor modification. Okay. So I'll just now, I hope you have understood. Now I'm trying to take it as a case. So case 1, when there is a sudden change in mechanical inputs, when there is a sudden increase in mechanical inputs. This is the one, right? Earlier mechanical input was PM, suddenly it has increased to the new value, isn't it? Now this was delta naught. I'll take these values as delta 1 and delta 2. Okay. So for system to be critically stable, A1 must be equal to A2, isn't it? What is A1 beta? Integral of delta naught to delta 1. Which one is higher? PM is higher, right? PM minus, this is electrical part. I can write it as P max into sine delta. Delta is equal to integral of delta 1 to delta 2. Here this one is higher, right? So P max sine delta minus PM d delta. Have you understood? Right? This is the way how we are going to write. Now, so this is a constant term which is independent of delta. So what I'll be getting? PM into delta 1 minus delta 1. But whereas this is sine delta derivative is minus cos delta, isn't it? So this is the integration of this term. That is equal to, here what you will be getting? P max into cos delta 1 minus cos delta 2 minus PM into what I'll be getting? Delta 2 minus delta. Isn't it? Now, I'm going to bring all the mechanical parts to one side. Isn't it? So what are the mechanical parts? This is, I'll bring this one to this side and solve it. So, isn't it? And I'm going to bring all these terms to that side. Isn't it right? This is the expression. Now, if you can see here, PM value is the mechanical power value, the new mechanical input. P max, you can calculate it. Delta naught, what was the initial position, isn't it? It was the initial position. And delta 2, you are supposed to compute. Okay. I hope you have understood this one. Now, how to solve this equation now? Okay. Now you see, what is P max and what is PM? PM is nothing but your new mechanical power. Your new mechanical power, isn't it? So the same mechanical power is here, here, and here. This is all the same value, isn't it? So can I take this one, this mechanical power? This one as can I take this mechanical power? PM is equal to, I am considering this point because here or here or here, PM is same, mechanical. At this point, if I consider this curve is P max, this point is delta 1. So can I write it as P max into sine delta 1? This is PM, right? Mechanical power is equal to, when I consider it on this curve, it is P max into sine delta 1. So now I'm going to substitute it here. So what I'll be getting here? So I'll be getting here, my expression is Tmax sine delta 1. Tmax gets cancelled. So my final expression is delta 2 minus delta naught into sine delta 1 is equal to cos delta naught minus cos delta 2. Or I can write it as cos delta naught minus cos delta 2 by delta 2 minus delta. Okay, this is the condition, or this is the value of delta 1 for the system to be critically stable. Okay. Now we will do small problems like this now. We'll try to apply this one for the small problems. Okay, I'll take a problem now. I hope you have understood these things. Now I'll take a problem for you, and I think someone is making a lot of sounds here. So I'm gonna solve a problem for you of a similar kind. A synchronous generator capable of delivering 500 megawatts per phase operates at delta naught is equal to 8 degrees. By how much can the input shaft power be increased? Input shaft power be increased without loss of stability. Without loss of stability. Without loss of stability. This was a simple problem. Now let's see how to solve this problem. See what he has given. Initially, it was delivering 500 megawatts. Initially, slowly he wanted to increase that value to some maximum value without losing stability. So how to solve this problem? So let us draw the power angle curve for this problem. This is so initially assume that this is delta naught and this is 500 megawatts. Okay. So initially, okay. Oh, sorry. This is capable of delivering 500 megawatts. So it means that maximum power is 500 megawatts. This is 500 megawatts. Initial angle is delta naught, which is equal to 8 degrees. It is 8 degrees. So initially the system was operating here. So what is this value, guys? 500 into sine 8, isn't it? 500 into sine 8, what is this value? It is somewhere around 70. So initially it was operating at 70 megawatts, but he wanted to suddenly increase the mechanical power without loss of synchronous. So he wants to increase this one, this mechanical power to somewhere. Okay, and so this is the new mechanical power. So I'm going to take this one, and he doesn't want to lose the synchronism. So I'll take the maximum value of this. So I'll take this entire value because he hasn't specified anything. So I'll take this one as delta 1 and this one as delta 2. And he wants not to lose the synchronism, right? So for the system to be critically stable without losing synchronism, what is the condition beta? A1 is equal to A2, isn't it? Now if you carefully see, I have gone to the maximum value. కావాలంటే ఇక్కడే తీసుకోవచ్చు delta t. But నేను maximum అన్నాడు కాబట్టి నేను ఇక్కడ దాకా వెళ్తాను. On seeing the figure, you can say that delta 1 plus delta 2 is equal to 5. అంతేనారా? Delta 1 plus delta 2 is equal to 5. This is one thing. Or I can write it as delta 2 is equal to 5 minus delta 1. Isn't it? And what is A1 now? A1 is integral of delta naught to delta 1. Delta naught to delta 1. What is the upper curve? This is upper curve, right? What is that? Pm, right? Can I take as Pm is equal to Pmax into sine delta 1? I can take it, okay? But let me write Pm minus Pmax sine delta is equal to from delta 1 to delta 2, which is higher, electrical power is higher. So I'm going to take this one as a minus Pm d delta. So trying to solve these things. So what is this one, guys? Pm into delta 1 minus delta naught. Sorry, yeah. Pmax into cos delta naught minus cos delta 1. This is what we have done in the previous part. Is equal to Pmax into cos delta 1 minus cos delta 2 minus Pm into delta 2 minus delta 1. Right? Where Pm is, what is Pm, guys? This is Pm, right? What is that one? Pmax into sine delta. We have solved this type of problems earlier, right? So what is the solution for this one? We know that delta 2 minus delta naught into sine delta 1 is equal to cos delta naught minus cos delta. You know delta naught, right? It is given at 8 degrees, isn't it? But there are other two terms, delta 2 and delta 1. You know delta 2 and delta 1, both are linked with this one. So can I write this one as pi minus delta 1 minus delta naught into sine delta 1 is equal to cos of delta naught minus cos of pi minus delta. Isn't it? See, this is an expression in terms of delta naught and delta 1. You know the value of delta naught. What is delta naught? Delta naught is equal to 8 degrees. So if you know the value of delta naught, so you can easily find out what is the value of delta 1. So I have done it through MATLAB. So it is somewhere around delta 1 is equal to 50 degrees. So delta 1 is equal to 50 degrees. Now I can probably say that delta 1 I have obtained at 50 degrees. So the maximum power is, so Pm, this is the maximum mechanical power which it can deliver, to which I can increase the machine rating. This is Pmax into 500 into sine 50. Somewhere around 380 megawatts. Okay. This is the way how we will be solving the problems, how we will be employing how we will be employing equal area criterion for solving the problems. Okay. So what we have learned in this lecture, that equal area criterion is one of the methods which is employed to predict the system stability, and we have gone through the method of equal area criterion, and we have also solved a problem where we have applied equal area criterion for determining the maximum mechanical power. That's it for today. Thank you once again.